Welcome to Madame Raven's. This way to the library. She's been expecting you.
Help! I'm trapped in a city of all women. My goddess is protecting me, and no one else. I know. You're all concerned they indoctrinated me into a cult. Also, for those curious, this will be my last update about the past and how I got here and such. My next update will cover the last few days. Talking about the abuse has helped too because I've been in denial for a while. I think I must confront Hilly about it. Yes, I'm still stuck with her. Sort of. It's complicated. Your Grace, Hilary bowed to Queen Rachel. She is my Hestie and my guest. Rachel forced a smile. How nice. She turned her attention to Lana. Lana. She looked her up and down with a predatory smile. I approve. Another time, yes? Lana's face was beet red. Yes, my queen. She went to leave before Rachel stopped her. Oh, no, dear. I did not say leave. Please stay. She motioned to the seat in front of the largest seat. Sit below me, under my feet. Lana nodded and did as she was told. Another tall woman, similar to Zephyrina, walked into the balcony, and it was getting crowded on the balcony. I moved down to the lower level of seats. She looked about Zephyrina's age, which had to be in the late teens, and wore a band t-shirt and cut-off jeans. She had long black hair and tan skin. She smiled to Zephyrina. Zeph! Theo! Zephyrina hugged her. You're back! She turned to Rachel. Mama, this is a surprise. It didn't seem right in the way she addressed Rachel, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Rachel cast a dagger-filled glare at Theodora before she sat down in her own chair. It was not. Demetra walked in behind her, spotted Hilary and me. Ah, Commander, nice to see you. I see you've brought your Hestie along for the festivities. Hilary bowed. Yes, Madam Steward. Demetra took the middle seat from the right side of the aisle. Theodora and Zephyrina both sitting next to each other, the aisle between them, chatting. Demetra looked back. Helena, what are you doing back there? The squire from the throne room scurried out from behind the curtain and plopped herself to her mother's right. She didn't say much. Demetra placed her arm around the young girl, pulling her close, whispering a few things to her, calming the shy thing down a bit. The stage lights flashed twice, and with that, Hilary and I found our seats. I turned to see Lana's face was beet red still, as she sat in front of Queen Rachel's seat. It was then that I realized Rachel had her foot resting on Lana's shoulder. I decided it was best not to look and turn my attention to the stage. The first band that played was a local penthesil one. 3 huge women got up and gave poor renditions of rock and roll songs. The band was competent, but outside of that, they were unremarkable. A few times I turned to see Zephyrina and Theodora were both looking to the front of the stage, rather than bobbing with the music. As I turned to it, I saw that there were no seats in the front of the stage, just people standing around, dancing, and a few circles forming where women were slamming into one another. I guess that the mosh pit is universal. With the band finishing with a song that I'd at least label as good, they rushed off stage, the drum set even being pulled off to the side. Hilary scoffed. That's odd. The house lights dropped and a heavy bass beat soon filled the amphitheater. It was some kind of new metal. Strobe lights flashed over the stage and the crowd began to go wild. Zephyrina was on her feet. No way, Mama. You got in this moment to play? Rachel grinned to Zephyrina. Surprise! A shrill voice sang out from the stage. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Zephyrina and Theodora both let out screams of excitement. I turned to see Rachel looking to Zephyrina with a wide smile. When I glanced to Eve, I saw her with a finger in her ear. Who's the fairest of them all? A spotlight soon shone on Queen Rachel. Rachel now beamed, spreading her wings, waving smugly. Tell me I'm the perfect queen. There was cheering from the entire amphitheater. I dragged my attention back to the stage. A woman with long blonde hair, wearing all black, even sporting a black wide-brim hat of sorts, walked out with a microphone. She had long black gloves with exaggerated claw-like fingertips. She wore black thigh-high heels and was the lead singer of the band. The other band members, all men, came out wearing various levels of white face paint and black leather. Mirror, mirror in my hand, who's the fairest in the land? Are they lining up for me? The spotlight finally came off of Rachel as the crowd began to get on their feet. The music kicked up in intensity. Turn it on, tune it in, let it out. Zephyrina then turned to Theodora. Trust me? Theodora frowned to her. Well, yeah, but with what? Turn it on, tune it in, the woman on stage began. Zephyrina then grabbed Theodora in a bear hug, spread her wings, and leaped into the air, taking Theodora with her, flying off the balcony and towards the dance floor down below. Rachel shot to her feet. Zephyrina, she growled. Maybe I'm not all that I've learned, the song continued, as Zephyrina and Theodora flew down to the crowd, joining those dancing and hurling themselves into the mosh pits. Close your eyes, you twist and you turn, the music thrummed, far too loud for my tastes. Rachel looked ready to launch herself out of the balcony and follow Zephyrina, and when Eve pulled her back. Mama, no. Eva then began to whisper a few things to Rachel. I was still unsure why the manner Rachel's daughter addressed her bothered me. Rachel returned to her seat, glaring daggers at the dance floor and holding her hand over her mouth, leaning her elbow on the armrest of her seat. When I looked over again, her teeth were grinding in anger. I turned my attention forward to the concert. I don't want to be your dirty pretty, the lead singer continued. By the time the concert was over, my ears were ringing from the loudspeakers. The first song was by far the tamest, believe it or not, and I could spot Theodora and Zephyrina having the time of their lives down below. I did not think a woman could scream like that and still have vocal cords left. When the house lights were up, Rachel turned to Demetra, glaring. Your daughter is a bad influence on Zephyrina, she barked. Demetria turned to Rachel. My queen, it was your daughter that made off with mine, if I may. Helena hid in her own seat behind Demetra. Oh, do not play coy, Rachel shouted. Do not think I'm blind to your little scheme. You are ensuring my daughter and yours are close friends to enshrine her status. Demetra stood, taking the accusation in stride. Your Grace, I am sorry if you feel that way. I'll discuss this with my daughter and see if, at your request, I can limit Theodora's interactions with Zephyrina. She spoke with the tact of a seasoned politician, and this only seemed to enrage Rachel further. Oh, you'd love a chance to turn my youngest daughter against me, wouldn't you? Rachel glared at her, then turned to Lana. My lovely, I'm in no mood tonight. Tomorrow, perhaps. And with this, she stormed off. Ava's head hung low as she bowed to Demetra and the rest of us. Sorry you had to see that. Hillary shook her head. It's all right, Princess. Eva sighed. I know, including that band would get Zephyrinna excited. She looked to me. They're from the U.S. It was a chore to arrange. Wait, the U.S.? I said, standing. Could I go back with them? Eva looked to Demetra. I turned to face her. Though Demetra was stoic, she looked down on me. Recall what we discussed earlier? My face fell as I realized that, even if I had a ticket back, they wouldn't welcome me home. Ava turned to Demetria. Is there an issue with this? Nothing we should discuss in open company, Demetria said. Have you reached out to the Secretary of State? I'm sure she'd be. Demetria grew aggravated. Yes, Princess, I have. She was firm on the issue. She knows her people better than us, and she stated it was in Madison's best interest to remain. Ava's face fell. I'm shocked she'd be so callous. Demetra shook her head. It isn't out of lack of care of Madison. I think it's the opposite. She likely felt this was the best path forward for Madison's well-being. Demetria narrowed her eyes to Ava. Do not think, just because you're a better leader than your mother, you are more competent than I in diplomacy. You still have much to learn. Ava nodded. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. She turned to me. I was just trying to look out for her. Demetra shook her head. You're young and you wear your emotions on your sleeve, Ava. If you wish to become a leader someday, you need to hold your cards close to your chest. She then turned to Helena. Helena, love, let's get going. Helena stood, reaching for Demetra's hand. It confused me because the girl was in her early teens, yet behaved much younger. Demetra led Helena out and turned to us. I hope you had an enjoyable evening. Good night. Helena held tight to her mother, avoiding eye contact with any of us. We should head home, Hilly said. The idea of going back home shook me a bit. The room, the memories I had there, the visions. I almost felt a panic coming on again. Lana had barely passed the corner of my eye before I reached out to her. Lana, could I stay at the house of Hesty tonight? I blurted out. Lana spun on her heels, looking to Hilly and me. You're free to do so. I understand with the stress of finding out you can't go home. You'd like some counseling. Wait, she can come home with me, Hilly defended. Lana addressed Hilly. Commander, I understand your situation, but please consider Madison. She's been through a lot, and despite the festival and the late hour, we offer grief counseling at all hours. Hilly flinched and looked to me worried. You promised you'd come home, Maddie, remember? I walked away from her. I just need one day and I'll be back. I need a little break. But Hilly tried to object. Madison's entitled to personal days, Commander. I'm sure you can fend for yourself for one day to allow Madison to have some time to herself. Yes? Lana leapt to my aid. Before anyone could say anything else, Lana had my hand in hers and was leading me out the door and down the stairs. I'll see you tomorrow, Lana. Nice to meet you, Madison, Ava said as we ran off. Hilly tried to follow, but I heard Ava grab her attention. Commander, I had some questions regarding the Royal Guard security detail, she began as we walked out. I very much liked Ava and Lana. When we'd gotten away from the crowds of people and everyone to grow more spread out, Lana looked to me. Is everything okay between you and Hillary? As I looked back, I don't know why I clammed up when she asked. I can't explain it. It felt like there was a ball in the middle of my throat. All I could do was shake my head and focus on breathing and walking. tasks that grew increasingly difficult. "You're certain?" Lana said. "Yes," I squeaked. "I'm certain." When we arrived at the house of Hestia, Lana led me into the dormitories. She opened up an empty room and turned to face me. "I will not pressure you to tell me anything, but if something is up, you need to report it to me. The house of Hestia protects every one of its members, and any kind of mistreatment isn't tolerated." I just nodded. "It's just that room." I shivered as I thought about the note. Then I realized something. "The note?" I asked. "Where is that note you took from me?" Lana shook her head. "The one with the Discordian rune on it?" "Yes, what did you do with it?" I asked. "I burned it," she said. "I burned it because Discordian magic makes me uneasy." Another woman walked by, overhearing us. "Lana, you damaged a Discordian rune?" I felt an odd shiver run down my spine, and I could swear I heard hissing from somewhere. Lana turned to her and nodded. "Yes, I know. It's supposed to be bad luck." "Bad luck?" I asked. Lana rolled her eyes. "Runes of discord ward off ill tidings. It said if you damage a Discordian rune, all the ill tidings that it prevented will fall upon you threefold." She chuckled. "It's a silly religion." I frowned. Maybe it's all someone can do to keep from being swept away in the chaos of life. Lana's smile faded as she looked over me. "I didn't mean to offend. When did you convert?" "Recently," I said. "Well," she heaved a sigh. "Just be safe, okay? And don't go thinking I distrust Discordians, despite their beliefs. I still will defend you regardless." Her smile returned. "Maria was Discordian, you know." That explained the note, and the odd things happening in the room. I wondered why Maria took her life, if she, Eris, protected her. A whisper echoed past my ear. "Faithlessness." I turned, seeing nothing. "Madison," Lana said, "you okay?" I nodded. "I'm fine, thanks again." "Well, if there's nothing else I can do, good night," Lana said, closing the door. I went to bed, but just before I did, I thought about how unlikely it was that all the events of today aligned to allow me to be sleeping here and not in Hillavy's home. "Praise Eris," I whispered as I went to bed. I woke up to the sound of someone shouting. As I got to my feet, it was Lana shouting from down the hallway. I ran to the door and cracked it open. "I told you, arties are not allowed back here. Now shoo, go!" I peered down the hall, spotting Lana standing firm against 3 arties, all towering over her, all wearing the red leather uniform of the Royal Guard. "Lana, we get it. But we're just here for the foreigner," one of them said. "There's no reason to stick your neck out for her," another woman chuckled. "I mean, she's not even a real Hestie, is she?" "The commander just wants her back," the third soldier griped. "She wouldn't shut up about it. Have a heart, will you?" Lana glared up at them. "You 3 should be ashamed of yourselves. This is a house of refuge for any Hestie in need, or otherwise. Did your commander put you up to this?" The first woman shook her head. "No, we're just doing her a solid." Lana poked the taller woman in the stomach. "You'll do her a bigger solid if you leave right now." The woman who Lana had poked glared back at her. "Was that a threat, Hestie?" "Yes," Lana declared. Before the woman could clench her fist, Lana reached out and jammed something under her arm. The woman froze and then fell to the floor as I heard rapid snapping noises. Lana yelped as one of the other girls slapped the taser out of her hand. "You little coward," the second woman shouted. I thought your mother would have taught you how to fight honorably." Lana then hurled an uppercut at the second woman's chin, sending her staggering back. "She did. 3 against 1 was poor odds," she glared. 2 against 1 will be easy." And with that, Lana put her hands up and lifted her front leg off the ground. "Is that kung fu?" I raised an eyebrow. The third woman rushed Lana, who parried her attacks. Lana hit back with an open palm to her stomach. The second guard charged at her, shouting. Lana dodged the attack, kicking her in the back to send her tumbling forward to the floor. The third woman regained her breath and put her hands up, ready to fight. She threw a few punches, which Lana parried with some difficulty. Lana then ducked down and swept the taller woman's legs out from under her. The woman tumbled to the ground but kicked herself back up. She continued her volley of punches. The second woman was on her feet, despite a scraped forehead, and now tried to join in. Lana dodged, parried, and countered their attack with some impressive skills, landing a few light strikes against him. However, in her bout with the pair, she didn't notice the third one get to her feet. "Look out!" I shouted. Lana glanced to me, glaring. "Get inside!" As Lana hesitated, a powerful blow struck her jaw. Lana hit the ground hard, but as she did, the first woman stomped on the back of her knee. I heard a snap as she cried out in pain. "You deceitful, honorless little Hesty!" She kicked her in the gut. "How dare you lay a finger on a member of the Royal Guard?" Selena calmed down. "She frickin' tased me!" Selena grunted as she delivered a kick with enough force to cause Lana to slide across the floor and smack into the reception desk. I couldn't see her too well from where I was now. Lana cried out and then began to gasp for air. Each gasp sounded more labored than the last, and then she began to cough, so much so that her coughing grew wet. Oh shit, Selena, you took it too far," the second woman shouted. "At worst, we'd agreed to rough her up." "We need to call this in," the third one shouted. The woman, Selena, rushed over to her, though I couldn't see their faces as they were wearing their helmets. "Come on, I didn't kick you that hard." The second woman backed away. "I'm out. This just got too real. Sorry. I'm done," she shouted as she ran off. "You coward!" the third woman shouted. "I'm not going to get decapitated by the Queen. Come on, Electra. No one else saw," Selena said as she ran out. Lana was gasping as Electra took a step back, contemplating running away, but changed her mind. Rushing to Lana's side, she picked up a radio. "I need an ambulance at the House of Hesty. There's been an attack. 1 victim." I stepped into the hall, looking at the scene. "Hang in there, Lana. Just please don't die on me, okay?" Electra consoled. Lana's breaths were growing weaker by the minute. Luckily, flashing lights outside indicated help arrived. A pair of EMTs rushed in and began to work on Lana. Vera was with them, looking to Electra. "Who was attacked?" she said, looking around. "Vera, you shouldn't—" "Lana!" Vera shouted. Electra held her back. "Let them work on her." I shut the door, locking it, my back against it. I shut my eyes, then felt a strange calmness take me. "Penance." The voice was soft and was my own, but something told me it wasn't me. "Leave. Go home." As quietly as possible, I walked out of my room and headed down the hall in the opposite direction. Something drove me back with a purpose, and I realized I was headed straight for the place I would call home for the foreseeable future. Fix it. I got to Hillavy's house, dialed in the access code, and let myself in. Without even checking, I stormed up the stairs and opened the door to Hillavy's room, flipping the lights on. She was lying on the bed, a few beer bottles on the ground. "Wake her." I picked one up and smashed it on the floor. Wake up, you damn drunk! Hilly sat up, staring at me. What, Maddie? I thought you were turning me in. I grabbed her by the collar of her shirt, pulling her face to face with mine. Listen to me and listen damn good, I shouted. Not sure what came over me, but I was seeing red. Hilly seemed to sober up as I shouted. No more drinking. You're seeing a professional about it. You have a frickin' problem, okay? Hilly's face fell, but before she could speak, I kept shouting. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck, okay? So it's the devil I know or the devil I don't. So if I'm stuck with you, you will straighten out. Got it? Hilly nodded. I understand that you lost your family, and I understand that's hard on you. But that doesn't give you the right to mope around and hurt people without knowing it, I pressed. Hilly's stone face then cracked, and she looked away. No, I shouted, letting go of her. Don't you dare look away from me. Hilly turned to me, tears leaking from her eyes. I calmed down and heaved a sigh. Hilly, you can drop the whole dishonorable to cry thing. I don't care about it. I was being strong for her, she choked out. I sat down on the bed next to her. Hilly's hands were on her knees. Maria's note said she thought I would be strong enough, but I was being strong for her. Lyra's murder hurt me too. Murdered? I asked. Wasn't she fighting? Hilly slammed her fist on the bed. She was on a supply run, she shouted, carrying supplies from a store to her unit, and some coward, she whimpered, shot her in the back of the head. I was silent as Hilly spoke. She didn't even see the face of the person who attacked her. 1 minute she was just carrying rations, and the next minute... Hilly trailed off. It had to be a closed casket. Maria couldn't look, but I did. I had to. But Lyria's face... Hilly whimpered. I hugged her, and with that Hilly grabbed me tightly and sobbed on my shoulder. After some time, Hilly's tears stopped and she left her head on my shoulder. Hilly, I asked. Yes, she spoke into my shoulder. You going to let go? I inquired. I don't want to, she admitted. Why? I like you, Hilly admitted. That figured, I sighed. The lump in my throat gone. I was calm, considering. Hilly, I'm straight. I'm flattered, okay, but I'm not into women. Doesn't change the fact that I like you, Hilly said, still talking into my shoulder. I pushed her away and she let go, her face looking away from mine. What did I say about turning from me? I'm embarrassed. Her eyes met mine. I should be over this. It happened over a year ago. You need to see someone about this. A counselor or therapist, I explained. Hilly shook her head. I don't like... I snapped my fingers in front of her face. That wasn't a request. That was a demand, or else I go. Hilly looked shocked for a moment. Then she smiled and nodded. Okay. You don't go or you put it off a single day and I'm gone. Got it? I tell Lana about the knock came back. Attack and I'm gone. Hilly nodded. You're not going anywhere. Good. I got up and sighed, looking to the beer bottles around the bed. And this is just... I'll get a broom. Alice and I made our way to the hospital where Lana was being treated. It relieved me she was alive, but I couldn't help but wonder if the only reason she was in here was that she burned Maria's note. A note that I had confirmed was still in my room. Alice looked to me. You saw them? I nodded. I couldn't do anything. Lana looked like she had it under control until the third one rushed her. I still think you're embellishing, Alice said, laughing. I can't imagine Lana holding her own against 2 royal guards. It's too crazy to make up, I said as we got to the hospital room. Inside, Vera was sleeping in the corner. Lana had tubes in her nose and a cast on her leg and wrist. Alice frowned. Lana? Lana turned her head, smiling. Oh, hey, she whispered. I frowned. This is my fault, I said, thinking of it in more ways than one. Eris must have had a hand in this. Lana's free hand waved me off. No, don't be stupid, she whispered, her voice weak. Those guards are the ones who did this. I know 2 of their names, if it helps, I said. I saw the whole thing. Lana frowned. Please don't identify them. What? I shouted. Vera sat up. Huh? She got to her feet and looked to Lana. You're awake. Lana grumbled. Vera, go home. She coughed. Vera was about to walk over before Alice shoved the flowers she had in her hands into mine and with both her hands pushed Vera out. She said, Go home, Vera, and she slammed the door in her face. Alice turned to us. Too much? Lana laughed and then groaned. Oh, why don't you want me to identify them? I asked. They beat me up. That was my fault. I shouldn't have let my guard down. She labored another breath. If you identify them, they won't serve time. Queen Rachel will kill them. Why would she kill them? I asked. Alice gasped. Oh my gods, the rumors are true, aren't they? What rumors are true? I asked. Lana is the Queen's Hestie. Lana nodded. Please don't gossip, Alice. Alice looked frustrated. Please? You're going against my very nature, Alice whined. This is so juicy. What's she like? Lana and I both gave Alice disapproving looks. I'm curious, Alice shouted. None of your business, Lana wheezed. Oh, that's your damn catchphrase by now, Alice shouted. Well, Alice, with you around, I don't blame her, I pointed out. The door swung open with a mighty shudder against the wall. We all turned and saw a woman taller than any I had seen standing in the door. She wore a military uniform unlike the other soldiers. Her shoulders had stars on them. Multiple medals were on her chest, and she rushed to Lana. My sweet daughter, what did those little bitches do to you? Her hair was white like Lana's, which made sense. Granted, I had never heard of white hair as a hereditary trait. Hi, Mom, Lana said, turning from her. Standing behind us, I noticed another woman. She wore a black trench coat, stood a good 6'2". She wore a red tank top on with white pants, a chain dangling from her pocket, and black boots. Her left cheek had a scar, and a pair of red-lensed wire-framed glasses hiding red eyes completed her outfit. Lana looked to the doorway. Cassara! Cassara waved but remained silent. I will crush who did this to you, the decorated soldier growled to Lana. I'm not reporting them, Lana informed. Cassara's eyes twitched. What? She declared from the doorway. I agree with your sister, the soldier said, narrowing her eyes at Lana. What? I let my guard down, Mother. She avoided her eyes. I failed you again. Cassara pushed her glasses up higher on her face. What are you talking about? You fended off 2 assailants in defense of a Hestie, did you not? Lana's mother defended. Lana nodded. Yes, but I was too weak. Lana's mother took her face in her hands. Lana, you fought off 2 royal guards. Granted, Commander Regis is by my and Cassara's assertions soft, but they aren't military. You wiped the floor with 2 of them, Cassara pointed out. Who's the one that kicked you when you were down? I don't need my stepsister to fight my battles for me, Lana said. Save your breath, Lana. Lana's mother whispered as she looked to Cassara. If your sister doesn't want to name the assailants, then that's her choice. Cassara pushed herself off the doorframe. Well, if she won't name them, it's fine. I'll find them without your help. And with that, she stormed off. For their sake, they had better skip town, she shouted from the hallway. Lana sighed. I'm sorry again. Why do you keep apologizing? Lana's mother asked. Because, she frowned, I let you down. You're my natural daughter. Lana's mother looked offended. You have never let me down. Then why did you always give Cassara praise and not me when we were training together? Lana asked. Because Cassara is a warrior, built to fight. She excelled where you did not. Lana's mother frowned. But just because you are not a warrior like she is, doesn't mean I'm disappointed in you. You're the Brigadier General of the Royal Army, Lana wheezed. Of course you'd be ashamed of your Hesty daughter. Lana's mother stood frowning. Lana, I'm proud of both of my daughters for different reasons. She smiled. You're head of the House of Hesty, Lana. Not just a mere house Hesty. I somehow took offense to this. I could tell Alice did as well. Lana, she whispered, I've always been proud of you. She hugged Lana. Lana hugged back, her face in her mother's shoulder. I looked at Alice. Shall we go? Alice nodded. Nonsense. Lana's mother let go, turning to us. Lana, I assume these Hesties are your friends? Lana just nodded. I'm sorry I did not introduce myself. Brigadier General Rhea Duval. She slammed her hand against her left breast. Thank you for coming to visit my daughter. It's not a problem, I said, placing the flowers on her desk. Alice got the flowers. Lana nodded. I assumed, since you sent the apples. Apples? I frowned. Lana motioned to the large basket filled to the brim with yellow apples. I assumed it was a Discordian offer. I appreciate it very much, she beamed to me. The basket had my name on it, despite me never sending her apples. I had an idea where they came from, however. I need to go. Hilly's back. This was about 5 years ago. I started writing this because, despite my not having much hope of escape, the need has arisen. You see, a new queen has taken power, and I'm afraid for all of us. Praise Eris. So quoth this raven. Oh, this is getting so good, is it not, my darlings? Thank you very much to Devlin Riptide, a.k.a. Zithero, for these wonderful stories, and I will bring another one to you next Sunday. I hope you all had a very enjoyable weekend and a marvelous week ahead. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters, Ermin, Darren and Jennifer, Laura, and Charlotte Emerson. If you like this, please hit the little button to let me know. If you didn't, hit the little button to let me know. Leave a comment. I'm always glad to talk with you, my darlings. I'm open to suggestions and criticisms, critiques. If you have not subscribed, please do so and ring the little bell so you know when to come up and see me. And I will talk to you next time, my darlings. Farewell.